dial indicator, part 3. You gotta use a dial indicator to take readings. If you never used one, hey, no worries. It's easy. Okay, so here's a quick lesson on how to use one. See that 0? That's the starting point. All we're doing is just reading the little hash marks on either side of the 0. These little hash marks, or readings as we like to say, will either be positive or negative depending on what side of the 0 the dial indicator needle is on. For example, starting on 0, if the needle goes clockwise 3 little hash marks, put a plus symbol in front of your number. It would look like this, plus 0.003. If the needle, once again starting at 0, if the needle begins to go counterclockwise, say for example you count 12 little hash marks, put a negative symbol in front of your number, which would look like this, negative 0.012. Alright, let's see one in action. Here's number 1 cylinder. What we're going to do, we're going to run the cylinder down. We're going to bring it up. Okay, it's just starting to go back down. That's pretty close to our top dead center. Now I'm going to get my dial indicator. I'll set that on here and I'll show you how to go through that process. You don't need to zero the dial indicator at this time. We're not taking any readings. We're not counting numbers. All what we're doing is we're going to watch the needle. It's going to go this way. As we turn the crank, it's going to stop, it's going to start to come back. What we want to find is where that needle, it goes, it stops, then just starts to come back. That's going to be our top dead center. That's all we're looking for. So go ahead, rotate the crank, watch the needle. As the needle comes, it's going to stop, and it's going to start to come back. Roll the crank backwards to get it right where that needle stops. Right there is top dead center. One thing to point out, when you set up your dial indicator, you want to make sure that your plunger is straight up and down. You don't want it crooked that way. You try to make it straight up and down is perfect. Then what I like to do is I'll adjust this, and if you watch the needle, I usually like to let it go around a couple revolutions. That way you know you have enough travel each way, that you're not going to run out. And once you feel that it's pretty much perpendicular to the block, tighten everything down, all your little adjustment screws on your mag base stand, you tighten all those down. Now we're just going to bring it up. So we're just going to watch the needle to where it stops moving. Okay, it stopped moving. Now it's moving back. We're going to bring it back around. Stop moving. Okay, and that's top dead center. Now there's another piece of equipment I'll like to show you. Is this magnetic deck bridge. There's little magnets on the bottom, and there's a couple different places you can insert your dial indicator. Basically, you just set this on here. We'll take off our dial indicator. And the thing I like about this is that your plunger is always perfect. It's always perpendicular to the block. It'll never be crooked, won't be this way. Where the dial indicator, you're trying to eyeball it to get it perfect. Where this, once you set it in here, you lock it down, it's solid money. You're right there, okay? So this is a different tool. You don't have to get this. You can still use the dial indicator. But you really got to eyeball the plunger to make sure it's not crooked. With this guy, you're straight up and down, perpendicular to the block all the time. Congratulations, you just found top dead center. You haven't found true top dead center. I'm going to show you how to do that next. So we're at top dead center. We can take our dial indicator, we'll move it over, and as you push down, you'll notice the needle travels. So you know you got enough movement each way. So you can tighten this little set screw up, holds the dial indicator into place. And we're going to take this piston with our two thumbs by the plunger, just push down on it. I like to push this back here, okay, and then I'm going to push it one more time, and that kind of gets the rock out of it. Going to push down one more time. Okay, that's solid right there. Now we can go ahead and zero this out. It's zeroed out. Come back to this side, push this down with your two thumbs, look at your dial indicator. We are at 16, plus 16. Okay, so all we have to do is bring this piston back to where the needle on the dial indicator reads 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's true top dead center. We found top dead center of the piston, then we found how much it rocks, and we compensated that to get it to the halfway point, and we're money. Well, now that we found true top dead center, we can now find top of the piston to top of the deck clearance. And that's a number that we need to use in the compression ratio formula. And now what you do, you can go ahead and remove your dial indicator, and you just take your straight edge and some feeler gauges and start checking for your deck clearance, top of piston to top of deck. And that's the number that you need to insert into your compression formula. Insert the feeler gauge until you find one that is a snug fit and write it down. Well, that's it, folks. That's how you read a dial indicator. Just count those little hash marks. And remember, starting at 0, if the dial indicator travels clockwise, your number is positive. Starting at 0, if the little needle travels counterclockwise, that's negative. You just got to remember to write those numbers down, write the symbol positive, write the symbol negative in front of the number, whichever way it goes. And that's it. You're an expert. That's all there is to it. So hope to see you for part 4, getting organized. Are you feeling down today? Help somebody else. You'll be surprised at how much better you feel when you're not thinking about yourself, and how much that other person really appreciates your thoughtfulness. Have a great day. See you for part 4.